guys, good evening to you all. Welcome to the weekly watch list. This is Jeff Kohler, aka Option Addict, from over at www.tradingaddicts.com. Let's kick things off with a little market analysis. I'm kind of sweating the market now, to be quite honest. I mean, I've been a pretty determined bull for the last month plus. Prices have kind of worked themselves out that way, but we've now got a catalyst out there with the whole foreclosure gate issue that has the financials deteriorating right before our eyes. The BKX, which I feel is a really important measurement of those financials, has broken down and has done so pretty significantly. As you can see, this big consolidation pattern that we've been following, we talked a little bit about the banks if they were going to go, but as news developed last week, mid last week, there was kind of a big reversal and a breakdown here substantially. Stocks like Bank of America, Wells Fargo, they all got crushed. The market's going to have a real hard time progressing with that. And what I've loved about this market up until this point is we've really had no bearish catalysts, right? We've got QE2 out there. There's a bid to stocks because of that. We've got elections coming up. We've got year-end rallies. We've got the holidays. We've got all these things. All these reasons for stocks to go higher. But that's now the one little piece of salt that I think could get this wound really bleeding here again, and that is the deterioration going on in the financials. So I want to pay close attention to that. And really, at the end of the week, I really scaled back a lot of long positions because that's one catalyst I think that could bring stocks down this week. So ultimately, what I want to watch is I want to watch the S&Ps and pick an index here, but basically look for this little trend of support. And if this level starts to give way, we saw two tests of support that were bought on both Thursday and Friday. If that level fails, then you know that the trend has changed and sell signals will start to ensue. At the same time, that should be confirmed by a breakout in the VIX. So even though we had those two tests of support and stocks tried to break down, we have two tests of resistance here in the VIX, and the VIX was unable to hold on to its gains. Beautiful rejection up off of the upper end of this level of resistance, and the VIX got crushed here into the close. So I'm still leaning long, but I'm not as enthusiastic about it as I have been in recent weeks. So with that, I hedged myself a little bit coming into this week. I just think it makes sense, but still looking primarily at long positions so long as that trend in the S&Ps holds up, the financials at least stabilize, at least start to bottom here a little bit. And as far as sell signals are concerned, the only sell signal I've got out there in any asset class is in crude oil, and we'll see if that holds come Monday. But I've got a couple of ideas here I'll throw out at you. Here's the traditional dips, rips, and $10 darlings. Take a look. Now, as for price patterns, guys, there is a plethora. So I'm going to start with Baidu. I really like the way that prices have been holding up through here. This is a beautiful little triangle, little wedge, and also right here near that psychological level of 100. I think there might be a little bit of a pop into earnings. I love the volume that shares saw on Friday, even though prices really coiled up and didn't do much. So if we see prices get back up above 100, look for a breakout that should take us up into earnings. That probably takes you up maybe 5 to 10 points. So Baidu to me looks pretty good here. Also, this confirmation here out of Coinstar, this inverse head and shoulders type pattern, saw a really good breakout on Friday with volume. If prices open up a little bit lower, I think that's a dip that you want to look to buy, especially if it gets down anywhere near 45. Also, you got to keep an eye on the cable stocks like Comcast, which came up on my unusual volume alert. You'll notice Comcast and stocks like CVC, which have been coiling here for quite a while. Time Warner Cable, they all got similar patterns here. They've all been seeing a little bit of volume here as they push towards their highs. And this ought to be a group that sees just kind of a whole unified breakout this week. So keep an eye on them cable stocks. Also, MTL, like the setup that's been going on here. You can see the prices have coiled up. Volumes come into play here over the last couple of trading days, and a breakaway from this should put prices up about 10% from this developing range. AKS, I believe, falls in the exact same pattern. Although it's been coiling up for a lot longer, I don't wonder if it can still hold on to these lows here, that if it were to turn around here come Monday, that might be one to buy and looking for a breakout. A couple others we looked at last week include WRP, which has been coiling up for quite a while. We looked at this on Thursday. It looks pretty good. It should be able to break out here on Monday. Onyx, ONXX, right around that 200-day too. Had a close above the 200-day with a little bit of volume. Looks pretty good. Looks good for higher prices. Sears was one of the retailers we looked at that's up against an important level of resistance. Kind of an ascending triangle pattern, if you will, just off near its lows. A break above this 75 level means prices might try to work their way up towards mid-80s, maybe up towards that 200-day moving average. Also like HOLX, that's a carryover from last week. Still looking for a breakout here. Volume's been pretty light, but a breakout should send prices back up to about 18. Caterpillar's a name to watch next week. It's been coiling pretty well. Might be one that waits until earnings to break. LLTC, another consolidation pattern here as well, looking for a breakout. Mentor Graphics, MENT, gotta be watching this one pretty closely. Trade above 11 looks good from here. Noble Energy is another name we're watching from last week. We had really successful trades last week in ATPG, in RIG, and now I think Noble, if Noble's able to get above those highs, might see a pretty good boost up into the upper 30s. If you're looking for a couple of bearish bets, if the financials continue to sell off here, there's a really good descending triangle here in PNC. A breakdown there might be worthy of some puts. Northern Trust, which has been coiling up, doing the same thing. If prices try to break away from this little symmetrical triangle, look for prices to work their way down towards their lows. US Bank looks pretty similar. I think most of them do. Others I like here, IAG. I think those miners, if we just get gold to sell off a little bit, those miners are going to get crushed. So keep an eye on consolidation patterns like IAG. I also like Molycorp, MCP, whether it breaks up or down. I like the fact that it's coiled up here for long enough. I think a big move is coming. Last but not least, HXL going over into aerospace and defense. Watch for a breakout here. So those are the ideas that I have. There's a lot more patterns this week, it seems, than we came across last week. All of them look really good, though, and those are all in the kind of stocks that I think will get some decent movement. For the last couple months, we've been absolutely on fire. The best stretch of performance we've had since the inception of Trading Addicts. So hop on, follow us along. We've been killing it, making a lot of money, so hopefully you guys can get in there and do the same with us. But as always, thank you for stopping by. And in the meantime, this has been The Option Addict. That's been my watch list. Thanks for watching. Have a profitable week.